Hello everybody, welcome back to Ridge Tech Gaming. I'm Steven. I'm going to be talking today about power supplies, specifically the ratings and trying to understand them a little better. And also picking out a power supply for your system, because that is a very important part of computer building. So let's get into that. Before we get on to that, don't forget to like the video if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. By the way, I am noticing 90% of you guys are not subscribed to this channel. So you guys should get subscribed. That way you guys can keep on coming back for these great videos. Also, link is down below for the merch store. Go get some merch. We got some hats, we got shirts, we got sweatshirts. So, in general, there are about 6 ratings. There technically is 5 now. They got rid of 1. We'll get into that in a second. And how they come up with these ratings is very simple. It's dependent on how hard you're hitting your system and how much of the power it uses efficiently to feed that. Higher the rating, the better it will feed the power to the task, depending on the load. So we'll start here. There's 80 plus bronze, 80 plus silver, gold, platinum, titanium. Going with these 6 because that's what originally there was, and honestly, most of the graphs that I could find still use silver, which is the one that got vamooshed a little bit ago. I will say, however, if you have a power supply that was made before 2004, it will not have this rating system on there because the 80 plus ratings came out in 2004. So depending on how much you're doing, the power supply is going to have some relative differences on how well it feeds that. So because it's converting the electricity from DC to AC, if I'm remembering correctly. I always get a little confused when it comes to electricity because it's not entirely my wheelhouse, but just know that there's a conversion thing going on, and that's how power supplies work, because they are 2 different forms of electricity. So we'll start with the 80 plus. It doesn't have a rating for 10% for under load. It does for 20, 50, and 100. So under 100% load, it works 80%. 50% load, 80%. And you guessed it, 20% load, 80%. It will always work at 80%. Now this is going off 115 volt international non-redundant, internal, and wow, 115 volt internal non-redundant. I'm just having so many words today that I'm not doing well on, because that is the most similar one to what I use in the States here, which is honestly the one I'm most familiar with. So there is a little different with 230 volt EU internal non-redundant, but it's pretty close to the same. Now we go to 80 plus bronze. It's now still no 10%. 20% load is 82%. 50 is 85. 100 is 82. So what you're noticing here is as it gets higher in the rating, the better your power supply is at giving electricity to your computer. Lower the load, less efficient. Higher the load, more efficient. And that makes sense. You want your power supply to be more efficient or as efficient as it gets higher up. As we get to 80 plus silver, which is also, by the way, the rating they got rid of because manufacturers decided they didn't need one between bronze and gold. So honestly, we're just going to skip this one. But you can pause the video right here and look at it and then go on. By the way, I'll make sure that the graph I use has with 3 80 plus test types. That way you guys can see them for yourselves for the area or plugs that you use in your area. 80 plus gold is 87% at 20% efficient, 90% efficient at 50 load, and 100% load gets 87%. You're noticing a good portion of these are going to have the highest at 50, which is perfectly fine to me. 80 plus platinum is 90% at 20. 50% gets 92%, and 100% gets 89% efficiency. Titanium is where you finally start seeing some efficiency at 10%, and the only one that has gotten tested for 10%, which is slightly interesting to me. 90% for the 10% efficiency. 20% load gives you a 92% efficiency. 50 gets you a 94% efficiency, and at 100% use, it gets you 90% efficiency. So it gets you most of the power you need. And honestly, that is also why you tend to want to overcompensate for your power supply use. This is also why I tend to recommend overestimating how much of a power supply wattage you need for your system. Now, let's talk about power supplies a little bit more here. First off, we're just going to see which one is the most commonly rated at highest star for on PC Part Picker, which makes thousands of builds. And unsurprisingly, it is the 80 plus gold 650 watt Seasonic Focus Plus Gold. Seasonic is the biggest power supply company that I can think of. And the good thing you're going to notice here also is most of these are going to be gold. Gold is one of the higher ratings. That is actually like right in the middle, which makes complete sense to me. Another thing you're going to notice here is they're considerably low wattage. Top 10, there is 1 platinum, 1 bronze, and the rest are 80 plus gold. Another thing you're going to notice is 760, 450, 650, 850, 550, 850, 750, 750, 650, 650. Almost all of these are around that 600 watt area. To which means to me, most people that are making computers with this are using lower wattage requiring builds, or are truly making sure they get the most bang for their buck when it comes to wattage. Now, general rule of thumb, take what wattage you have, double it, and somewhere around there is about what you would want for your power supply. So, for the build that I have currently on PC Part Picker, which is the $800 build I just did last week, go give that a look, see if you want to watch that, was 259 watts. We're going to say 260, so that would be 550. Right here, the EVGA G2 would be one of the top choices here. Now, I went with a 650 with the build that I would do in the video. Spoilers. The Seasonic Focus Plus Gold, because Seasonic is the most trusted power supply brand that I can think of. Second would be Corsair, because Corsair is a very high-end company. And then let me see if I can find what other companies are there, because I think Corsair and Seasonic are the most part ones I would go with. EVGA would be a great one as well, because they are just a widely regarded company in the gaming and computer building areas in general. Now, a bigger thing I would say that's also important when it comes down to these isn't just the price, but it's the warranties. Let's hop over to Amazon and see what the warranty is. 10% warranty, that is pretty much standard when it comes down to warranties when it comes for power supplies. It does vary a little bit. The Enermax one from my previous build had a 15 warranty. Now, the one that's currently in my computer, I think is this one, which is the Corsair HX1000, because my build's a little higher in, well, parts. Uses 528 watts in general. This is because I have a lot of RGB. I use a higher end CPU. I have 2 SATA NVMe drives. I have a very higher end GPU, more RGB for my case. So I needed one that was efficient and had a high wattage. Honestly, I could have cut some stuff and gotten the wattage down. However, this is what I wanted, and it's what I wanted to build. So honestly, the biggest part for building your computer is the CPU, the motherboard, always going to be. The next biggest one would be your power supply. Getting a very higher end power supply isn't the biggest deal, but getting one that is reliable, comes from a good company that you trust, and also is rated well enough that you know it'll be quality is perfectly fine. Seasonic, Corsair, EVGA are the bigger 3 when it comes to power supplies. You could get cheaper power supplies from other brands. I don't want to and don't tend to have any want to do that currently because I have to be a little better at worming my way through and making sure I don't brick anything. And the surest way for me currently would be not get cheaper product for what I'm doing. I'm paying for quality because I want to give quality to you guys in forms of reviews and how things are going for computer building. By the way, the Phanteks case, perfect choice. This thing's awesome to work in, and honestly, the RGB is beautiful. All right, everybody, I hope you guys liked this video. Don't forget to like the video if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch store. Go get some merch. Like I said before, shirts, hats, t-shirts, and there's been a lot of updates coming from Steam Elements. I'm going to get some new ones out, and I'm sure you guys will love it. If you guys enjoyed this video, go check out the video I just did a few weeks ago on the SteelSeries Arctis Pro Nova wireless headsets. I'm going to be doing another follow-up video here in a little bit to talk to you guys about them, but that would be some good pre-video watching to do before you watch my conclusion to these, because there was something that came up that I think should be known. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and have a good day.